Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy, Delightful Kiss Boy, and today I'm going to be taking an autism test from EmbraceAutism.com, which was a website I chose because it simply has the most cursed corporate art that I've ever seen in my entire life. That is terrifying right there. And so I had to choose this one. I mean, also, it seems to be putting a kind of portraying autism in a positive light, which I like because I know autistic people in my own life, and they're dope. All right, and so I want to, it's not a bad thing to be autistic. All right, now for full clarity, I don't think that I actually have autism. I wouldn't really care if I did, but there's only one way to find out, and it's to assess, right? But I'm doing this because I've gotten a number of comments calling me Autistic Joe Swanson, which is goddamn hilarious to me. This one was the first one I think that coined the term. I literally spit my drink out when I started the video. I saw the length of the video, I heard buckshot roulette music, and Autistic Joe Swanson started speaking. Absolutely love this video. This is incredible. That's a great comment right there. Now, so like I said, I don't think I'm autistic. I might be. I personally don't really care if I am or not, so I'm going to be going into this, with an open mind, right? But let's go over the reasons why people might think that I'm autistic. Number one is that I make in-depth videos about niche topics where I dive deep into math and coding. Especially when it was like buckshot roulette. People are like, this guy's obsessed with buckshot roulette, and he's just like analyzing the shit out of it, right? So I totally see that. Number two, I've got a little bit of a monotonous voice or monotone voice. Excuse me. Not all the time. If I'm doing like a video where I'm going off of a slide deck, I'm a little more animated or whatever. But just like, if I'm just talking, I don't know, it's kind of monotone. I don't know. Got a deep monotone voice, right? So it's two things. I think that's mostly it, right? So it's like, I know that with autism, there's a lot of, special interests, we should say. Now, the thing that I think distinguishes what I'm doing from like a special interest is that I oftentimes get tired of topics. Now I was on Buckshot for a while because it was fun to like make my simulator and all that stuff. But like generally I'll be like interested in something for a bit and then I'm just over it very quickly. All right. That's just how my brain works. Another reason I don't think that I have autism is that like sensory shit doesn't really bug me anymore. It kind of did in the past. I had a little bit of that stuff, but it's not really been that much of an issue. Like, I don't give a shit about loud noises and anything like that. So, I'm thinking I'm not, but once again, only one way to find out, right? And of course, these assessments aren't like a formal diagnosis, so I'm not going to take either result as gospel, but it can give you an idea. So, let's see here. There's I think the one that everybody says to do is this one. The RAADS, fucking Fallout shit. Maybe I'll take the Aspie quiz at some point. Let's do this one. I don't know. Why not? It says, it's a self-report questionnaire designed to identify adult autistics who escape diagnosis due to a subclinical level presentation. All right, well, let's try it out. Okay, self-reporting here. So it's just an opportunity to talk about my own experiences, etc. All right. The best fits your experiences during social interactions. I am a sympathetic person. I don't think I'm like a particularly sympathetic person, but I think I'm pretty sympathetic. And I think that it was both now and when I was young. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I get caught up in I guess it's empathy. What is the difference between like sympathy and empathy? I guess sympathy is like you're not relating to what they're going through, but you're expressing sympathy, which I can definitely feel that. But it's usually from an empathetic lens. I don't fucking know, man. Anyway, we're going to move on. I'm going to say yes. I often use words and phrases from movies and television in conversations. Not really movies. Well, some movies, yeah. I quote like The Big Lebowski a lot. That sort of shit. I also quote a lot of YouTube videos. If you'll watch my videos, I make a lot of references and shit like that. So, I'd say that's true definitely now. When I was young, though, I don't remember. I probably did, so I'm going to say like true now and when I was young. I'm often surprised when others tell me I have been rude. Now, that is not true. I sometimes am rude, you know, and crude, but I'm never surprised if somebody is offended by that. So I'm going to say never true. Sometimes I talk too loudly or too softly and I'm not aware of it. So this one can be an issue for me because my voice carries, but I am usually pretty aware of it. But it's like, I don't know, the voice carrying thing, like, I don't know, that's just because I have a deep voice. So I think that's not true. I often don't know how to act in social situations. That was true when I was younger. Now it's like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? But back then I used to be like, pretty awkward back in like middle school and stuff. Got a little stuffy nose right now, BT dubs. But I got coffee. Not that that's related anyway, but it just makes things better. But yeah, I used to be like pretty awkward when I was in like... I would say like in elementary school I was pretty good because everybody got along. When I got to like middle school, I was pretty awkward. In high school it was kind of a mix. With certain people I was awkward, with other people I wasn't at all. Like with my bandmates, I was pretty awkward a lot of the time. But then when I got to like college and beyond, I was pretty normal, I guess. So I'd say younger than 16. It was probably like younger than 20, I would say. But then like 20 to now, I'm all good. I can put myself in other people's shoes. All right, so empathy. Yeah, I mean, I can do that pretty well. I've always been able to do that. I have a hard time figuring out what some phrases mean, like you are the apple of my eye. You all are the apple of my eye, my beautiful audience. No, I don't think so. I mean, if figuring out what some phrases mean, I mean, worst comes to worst, you can just look it up. I don't know. I just know a lot of these sayings, so I don't know. I only like to talk to people who share my special interests. Not true. So my best friends are people that have nothing in common with me. Like one of my best friends is a dude in the Coast Guard. Basically, our shared interests are walking, late night and early morning excursions, Christmas, and some weird videos. But other than that, I mean, he doesn't like coding at all. He doesn't like any of the games I play. He doesn't like any of that shit. But we are very, very good friends. And we can just talk a lot. And oftentimes I find that talking to people that don't share my interests, I'll have a more interesting conversation because I'm learning stuff that I don't know about, right? So, I don't know. I find that this is a good trait in friends, is to not be carbon copies of myself. All right. I focus on details rather than the overall idea. This is not true. I'm not a very detail-oriented person. I mean, sometimes I am when it comes to, like, coding. Because sometimes I'll go from like a bottom-up approach, but like definitely in real life I don't usually get into the minutia of shit. Which might seem kind of ironic because like I do these in-depth videos, but I mean like ultimately that starts with a question, and when I'm presenting things, you know, I'll go in depth about it, but like I don't know, I don't really give a shit a lot of the time, most of the time. Anyway. I always notice how food feels in my mouth is more important to me than how it tastes. That is not true. Well, I'm trying to think. When I was younger, I didn't like Jell-O, for example, because the texture was gross to me. I used to be a pretty picky eater when I was younger, actually, and now I eat fucking whatever, dude. I know, what is it, Arfid or whatever the fuck it is? I don't think I had that, but like, I didn't like Jell-O, I didn't like cheese back in the day, dude, which is fucking wild. I love cheese. What the hell was I doing? I'll just put this as true only when I was younger. I don't think it was that true though, but I'll just say yes, why not? Most of my best friends are family when we are apart for a long time. Now this is one that's a little interesting. I don't really, which is kind of, I feel bad about it, but like, I kind of have a thing where like, if if I'm not, like, if I don't see people for a long time, I just kind of stop thinking about them most of the time, which is kind of shitty, but, like, it's kind of true. I don't know. I mostly just interact with the people that are around me, and, I don't give a fuck most of the time. I would say, like, with girlfriends I've had, that's definitely true. But with just friends, I don't know. I don't really miss them too much, as shitty as that sounds. So, I don't know. I'm a person where it's like I enjoy hanging out with people and shit, but I also enjoy my alone time. So, there you go. Sometimes I offend others by saying what I am thinking, even if I don't mean to. Now, this is the kicker right here. I don't think that this is true. Usually, if I'm saying something that is offensive to people, I mean to offend. So I would say that's never true. I only like to think and talk about a few things that interest me. This is not true at all. I'm a yapper, and I find most things somewhat interesting. Not everything. There have been a few people that I've tried to talk to where it's just like they're the most boring fucking person on planet Earth. And in a certain way, that becomes an interesting trait in that person. Like, I'll give you an example. When I worked at a library in college, my boss was like one of the most boring people of all time. And she was like, we were sitting at the info desk and she was talking to me and she said, like, she gave me this story about, it was like set up to be this interesting story from a cruise she went on with her family. And she was like, had like nothing to do with, like, we were just talking about cruises, and this is the story she chose to tell me. She said, when we were on this cruise, there was this food court area, and there was like a bar, right? And what we wanted to do is we wanted to go to the bar to get food, but we had kids, so we couldn't go into the bar with the kids. And so what the staff let us do was go to the bar and get our food and then bring it out to the rest of the food court area. And that was the whole fucking story. Like, we were talking about, we just brought up cruises, and that was her main anecdote, was that the fucking ship let her take the food from the bar out to her family in the main food quarters. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course, like, that's the most benign shit I've ever heard in my life. And so it's stuck in my head. It's one of the most interesting stories in my head because I'm just like, how the fuck does somebody think that that's an interesting thing to tell me? So it is, and ironically, it loops around to being an interesting thing to talk about. So there you go. That was crazy to me, man. I'd rather go out to eat in a restaurant by myself than with someone I know. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? No. Like, I don't want to eat in a restaurant by myself. Usually. I mean, I don't know. If I'm like going to a cafe to get work done, that's one thing, but if I'm just like going out, like, I don't dine in at fucking places by myself unless I'm like traveling alone, which I do occasionally. But no, fuck that, dude. I cannot imagine what it would be like to be someone else. That is not true. I think that that's just empathy right there, which I do in fact possess. I've been told I am clumsy or uncoordinated. That is true through and through. Back when I was a kid to now, I am a klutz. A bit of a klutz. I'm not gonna lie. I consistently spill shit on myself, you know, that sort of thing. That's 100% fact, alright? I'm a bumbling oaf. Others consider me odd or different. That's an interesting one. I mean, I think when I was younger, yeah. Now, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I don't know. People know that, I'm trying to think of, like, what people think of me now. I don't think about what other people think of me now. I just don't really care. I think when I was younger, I don't think now people really do. I mean, I'm just kind of a guy. When I was younger, like, yeah, because I was a little bit awkward, and yeah, I think that when I was younger, people would consider me odd. Definitely when I was like a really young kid, I had some weird shit, going on, like weird little habits or whatever. I understand when friends need to be comforted. So, okay, this is one. I do understand when they do. Do I know how to do it a lot of the time? Not necessarily. But I do know when they do. So there you go. I'm very sensitive to the way my clothes feel when I touch them. How they feel is more important to me than how they look. No. I mean, I'm not very sensitive to the way that my clothes feel anymore. I mean, okay, when I was like a kid, we had to cut the tags off of my shirts because the tag would like irritate the back of my neck. So I'll say like true when I was younger than 16 maybe, just for that reason. I don't know. I like to copy the way certain people speak and act. It helps me appear more normal. That is not true. I don't care. It can be very intimidating for me to talk to more than one person at the same time. That is not true. In fact, oftentimes when there's more people around, I feel, I don't know, if the conversation just starts going, man. Like, you got people interjecting and filling in space. It's just it's a delight to be talking to more than one person at a time. I have to act normal to please other people and make them like me. I read this as like make them like me, like make them in my own image. No, I mean, when I was younger, let me just think. No, I mean, I don't know. I was just kind of awkward, and I don't think that I had to act normal. And I feel like I'm just always doing what I want to do nowadays. I don't have to think about it. So, I don't know. Whether I got trained into acting normal over time, and I just naturally want to keep doing that, I don't know. But I don't think about it anymore. Meeting new people is usually easy for me. That is true only now. When I was a younger person, not true. But now it's like, it's just, I mean, meeting people through mutuals, it's pretty fucking easy. I'm just like, hey, how you doing? My name is Delightful Kiss Boy, which is my real name in real life. And we just go from there. And usually people have, I don't know, they're interesting to talk to. So there you go. I get highly confused when someone interrupts me when I am talking about something I'm very interested in. I get highly confused? No. What does that mean? What do you mean? It's like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck are you doing? I mean, maybe I'll get annoyed, but I don't get confused. Oh, okay, wait. This must be like if... Okay, no, now I get it. It's like, so autistic people, sometimes, like I said, they have special interests, and they like to talk about that special interest, and then other people get annoyed because they are not interested in it, and so then they cut you off, and then maybe you get confused because you understand that they're bored and annoyed with you. But no, I don't get confused. It's difficult for me to understand how other people are feeling when we are talking. Haven't I gotten an empathy question 3 times, dude? Not true. I can usually tell how people are feeling from the conversation. I like having conversation with several people, for instance, around a dinner table, at school, or at work. Yeah, sounds good to me. Well, okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I've always liked that. Yeah, sounds good. I used to go to, like, Sunday dinners at my grandma's house. I take things too literally, so I often miss what people are trying to say. That is not true. In fact, I often have the opposite problem, I would say, that sometimes I just kind of make the mistake where I think that everybody is joking. I guess it's not really too literally, but it's more just like, I feel like people are joking a lot, and then sometimes like when they're like actually mad, sometimes I think they're just fucking joking. It's okay, not in person. When it's online, I sometimes get confused about that because it's hard to understand over text. But I'm just like, how the fuck could anybody be mad at this? I mean, maybe going back to that being rude unintentionally question, maybe I do that sometimes online, but who knows? Too late to go back. It is very difficult for me to understand when someone is embarrassed or jealous. That is not true at all. It's very easy to tell either of these scenarios. Embarrassed means they start, trying to save face. Jealous, they're trying to downplay your whatever shit you got going on, you know? Pretty easy to see. Some ordinary textures that do not bother others feel very offensive when they touch my skin. That's not true. No. I cannot think of a texture that is ordinary that I get really upset about. I get extremely upset when the way I like to do things is suddenly changed. That is not true because I barely have a way that I like to do things. I'm very much a roll with the punches kind of dude. I love a good trip where you just go out and you see what the fuck happens. That's always fun. I like a little spontaneity, man. I've never wanted or needed to have what other people call an intimate relationship. That is true when I was younger. And then I had an intimate relationship and I was like, holy shit, boss, I need this. So there you go. Now, now I do. Okay, there you go. There you go. It's difficult for me to start and stop a conversation. I had to keep going until I am finished. That's not true at all. If I need to go take a dump and I'm talking to you on the phone, I will go take a dump and I'll usually hang up on you unless you're a very close friend, in which case, never mind. I speak with a normal rhythm. I don't know. I don't really... Okay, I think I speak a little slow. To be honest. Like, if I'm not conscious about it, I think I speak a little slow. If that's true. So I'm just gonna go say never true on that one. I think I'm a little bit of a slow speaker. Okay? The same sound, color, or texture can suddenly change from very sensitive to very dull. What? What does that mean? Okay, I mean, your brain is a way of, like, compartmentalizing repetitive shit, and you stop noticing it much. Like, there's some weird shit that can happen. What my friends and I used to do... Let me take a sip of coffee real quick. We used to have this thing, what we started doing, which is hilarious. Okay. Hilarious to me now that we thought that this was funny. I used to go over to my bud's house, spend the night there. Sometimes there'd be some other people there. We'd just kind of chill. I'd sleep on his floor. And we would put on a 10-hour loop of some song. Like, it used to be like the fucking Mario invincibility sound, like that. We put that on for like 10 hours. We did that with that sound. We did that with epic sax guy, like the dun da 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 that thing, and then we also did it with the Cantina song from Star Wars, like the you know, that's those songs. And it would literally, you'd feel like you're going insane. That's why we thought it was funny. Is because if you would like go to sleep during it, right? Your brain's listening to it. I would wake up and I couldn't comprehend what the song was anymore. If you want to try this, try it out. We would go to sleep, we'd wake up, and our brain had like put it into the background noise category to the point where like I couldn't understand it as music anymore. Right? It's just this dull background noise because I've just heard it for so long. So if you want to try that, give it a try. It'll drive you insane, I'm telling you. But it would take like a while for me to actually be able to hear it again after I stopped listening to it. But I don't think this is true. I mean, that happens only if I listen to a 10-hour loop of a repetitive song. But anyway, here we go. The phrase, "I've got you under my skin," makes me uncomfortable. What? Isn't it, I'm getting under your skin? I've got you under my skin? I mean, it makes me uncomfortable because actually, I mean, isn't it, am I understanding something wrong? It's like, I thought it was, you're getting under my skin. I don't know, it doesn't make me uncomfortable though, I don't think. That's a weird question, dude. Sometimes the sound of a word or a high-pitched noise can be painful to my ears. Not really, to be honest. Like, there are times when people... Okay, here's the thing. It's because I listen to a bunch of noise metal and noise rock that just has a bunch of this shit. And industrial sounds, so, no. I don't think so. I'm an understanding type of person. I mean, once again, I don't think I'm particularly understanding. Like, I think I'm just kind of normal. But I'll say true now and when I was young. I do not connect with characters in movies and cannot feel what they feel. That is not true. I cried during the Iron Giant growing up. I could feel what that giant was going through when he was torn limb from limb. Or got it blown up or some shit. I can't remember, dude. No, I mean... I connect with the characters in movies. The characters. Yeah, I don't know. I cannot tell when someone is flirting with me. True only when I was younger. Alright, when I was younger, I was oblivious. And it was less like, I think I thought that they were, but I just kind of like second-guessed myself and doubted myself, you know? So I'll just say true when I was younger than 16. It's pretty obvious now. But now people are a lot more direct, too. I can tell you that much. I can see in my mind in exact detail things that I am interested in. Absolutely not, dude. I cannot see anything clearly in my mind. Okay, that's another thing. Maybe it's autistic or whatever. So I can't view things in my head. I keep lists of things that interest me even when they have no practical use. For example, sports statistics, trade schedules, calendar dates, historical facts, and dates. Every one of my videos. I mean, I don't keep lists of shit if there's no purpose. Like, I'll keep, you know, I'll compute shit to make a video. But no, I'm not just like going around keeping lists of things. So that's not true. When I feel overwhelmed by my senses, I have to isolate myself to shut them down. That is not true, although I do appreciate my alone time. It's not compulsory, and it doesn't have anything to do with like sensory overload. Alright. I like to talk things over with my friends. That is always true, baby. Love to yap. I cannot tell if someone is interested or bored with what I'm saying. That is not true. I can tell pretty quickly if somebody doesn't want to hear what I have to say. And sometimes that sucks for them. Because sometimes I'll just keep going. It can be very hard to read someone's face, hand, and body movements when they are talking. Not true. The same thing like clothes or temperature can feel very different to me at different times. Can feel very different to me at different times? I mean, I can tell you that I hate the heat because it's uncomfortable, but that always feels the same, so never true. Got my fucking nose, dude. Just a sec. I'm gonna mute for a sec and blow my nose real quick. Alright, we are back. Alright, I feel very comfortable with dating or being in social situations with others. Those are two very different things, I would say, but true only now. Alright, I definitely am now. When I was younger, not at all, let me tell you. I went to a date at the Cheesecake Factory because I couldn't afford anywhere else in high school, and that was awkward. Also, the Cheesecake Factory fucking sucks. I try to be as helpful as I can when other people tell me their personal problems. Okay, here's the thing. This is kind of a loaded question, I think. If they are asking for advice, then yes, but I mean, half the time when people are telling you their problems, they don't want you to be helpful. The helpful thing you're doing is like letting them vent so that they can process what the fuck they're talking about. So, in a way, no. Like, I don't know. I mean, I just kind of listen and then, you know, I'm like, I'll chime in, you know, if if there's something going on that I can offer insight into, but it's like, that's not my main goal. And oftentimes, I mean, the other thing is like, people can tell you their problems, and there's a way of kind of like, I don't know, like relating to them in a way where you're not making it about you, but you're sharing your experiences so that like they can relate. I don't know, there's a way to do it. That's usually more of what I'm doing. So I'm gonna say no, actually. I've been told that I have an unusual voice. That is true now and when I was young. For example, flat, monotone, childish, or high-pitched. No. No. Yes. Yes. I mean, it's more just like, oh, you have a fucking deep voice. So I'll say true and now and when I was young. Sometimes a thought or subject gets stuck in my mind and I have to talk about it even if no one is interested. That's not true. I don't feel the need to talk about it with most people. And if I do, it's usually pretty short. So, no, I would say no. I do certain things with my hands over and over again, like flapping, twirling sticks or strings, waving things by my eyes. Dude, that would be... Waving things by my eyes, that would be so fucking annoying, dude. What the hell? I mean, I don't know. I'll like fiddle around with shit. But it's like subconscious and I just kind of like pick something up and start rotating it in my fingers or something. But no, I don't really think so. I've never been interested in what most people I know consider interesting. Okay, I mean, okay, this one is kind of true about sports. I'm not very interested in sports for the most part. I like fantasy sports, but that's it's a little different. I don't like watching sports, so that's one thing. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, I find most shit interesting. There's certain things about sports I find interesting. And what most people I know... I mean, I'll say true just for... I mean, sports is a huge one, you know? I don't really get what the fuss is about. So, there you go. I'm typically considered a compassionate type of person. I don't think so, actually. I mean, considered? I think I am, but I don't think that people consider me to be honest. Like, I don't usually come off that way, is what I would say. So, there we go. I get along with other people by following a set of specific rules that help me look normal. That is not true. I don't think about it. It's very difficult for me to work and function in groups. It's not difficult, I just don't like it, usually. I don't like group projects, but I do fine in them, so no. When I'm talking to someone, it is hard to change the subject. If the other person does so, I can get very upset and confused. Absolutely not. The conversation flows and goes where it needs to go. Sometimes I have to cover my ears to block out painful noises like vacuum cleaners or someone talking too much or too loudly. Just imagine sitting there and somebody's just talking to you and you just put your hands over your ears like, shut the fuck up. No. I shouldn't make fun of that shit. I'm not... Okay. No, I take that back. That is actually something that people do. So I gotta catch myself. The visual is funny to me. I'm sorry. No. I shouldn't make fun of that because that is a legitimate thing that people can do. So there you go. I can chat and make small talk with people. That is true only now. When I was younger, I didn't know how to talk to olds at all. Sometimes things that should feel painful are not. For instance, when I hurt myself or burn my hand on the stove. No, I don't think so. I mean, like, I don't know. When I get tattoos, it doesn't really hurt that much, but, like, it still hurts. Or not. No, I mean, it still hurts, so I'm gonna say that's never true. When talking to someone, I have a hard time telling when it is my turn to talk or listen. It's not true. It's pretty easy for me to tell. I'm considered a loner by those who know me best. That is not true. I mean, there's like one or 2 years maybe, but that was true when I was younger. But most of the time, no, I've always usually had friends. I usually speak in a normal tone. What does that mean? Does that mean, is this a normal tone? It's deeper, but I don't think it's that weird. Like, have a bit of a monotone, you know, but I don't think it's that fucking weird. I'm just gonna say never true. I like things to be exactly the same day after day, and even small changes in my routines upset me. That is not true. It's just sometimes this is how it just ends up being, which starts to depress me. So no, I don't like that. How to make friends and socialize is a mystery to me. Nope, got lots of good friends. Calms me to spin around or rock in a chair when I'm feeling stressed. No, I don't have a rocking chair. Spinning around in a chair sounds like a fucking nightmare. No. The phrase, he wears his heart on his sleeve, does not make sense to me. No, I mean, you're just letting it all out, man. I mean, that's what that means. You're showing all of your emotions, you're airing all your dirty laundry, you're wearing your heart on your sleeve. If I'm in a place where there are many smells, textures to feel, noises, or bright lights, I feel anxious or frightened. No. I can tell when someone... I love going to, like, haunted houses, man. I can tell when someone says one thing but means something else. That is true. Well, I mean, sometimes I mistakenly think they're doing this online, but no, I can tell when somebody's being sarcastic. I like to be by myself as much as I can. I mean, it's not true. I kind of am neutral on it. So I'm gonna say not true, because I also enjoy hanging out with my friends. I keep my thoughts stacked in my memory like they're in filing cards, and I pick out the ones I need by looking through the stack and finding the right one? What the fuck, dude? No, it's like the SpongeBob episode where he's forgetting everything about fine dining, or everything except fine dining and shit like that, cooking. The same sound sometimes seems very loud or very soft, even though I know it has not changed. No. I enjoy spending time eating and talking with my family and friends. Yes, especially this part. I can't tolerate things I dislike, like smells, textures, sounds, or colors. Never true. I don't like to be hugged or held. Not true, baby, not true. Although I will say, getting hugged by, like, my great aunt, not the vibe, but it's fine. When I go somewhere, I have to follow a familiar route, or I can get very confused and upset. Never true. I just let Google Maps tell me where I need to go, and I get slightly annoyed at it when I end up backed up in traffic. It's difficult to figure out what other people expect of me. What the fuck do other people expect of me? I mean, there you go. Maybe it's difficult for me to figure that out. I mean, like, no. I mean, if I go to a place where I'm supposed to be, what does that mean? What other people expect of me? If I go to a fucking job, there's expectations laid out. If I go to a party, what are the expectations? I mean, I just stand around and talk. I don't even... Nobody expects anything of me. I like to have close friends. True. Yep. People tell me that I give too much detail. In my videos, yes, but not in person. I am often told I ask embarrassing questions. No. I tend to point out other people's mistakes. I mean, not really. I mean, roulette professional. Trying to think. I don't really give a fuck. So not in person. So I'm gonna say never true. Score 36 total. Language subtotal 4, social relatedness subtotal 15, sensory/motor subtotal 14, circumscribed interest subtotal 3. I don't know what the fuck that shit is exactly, but meaning of the scores. Score 25, you are not autistic. Score 50, some autistic traits, but likely not autistic, yet some autistic people score as low as 44. All right, well, there you go. I have 36, so I'm somewhere between not being autistic and maybe being kind of slightly autistic. So there you go. 36. I think that's about accurate. I think I'm a bit of an odd guy. I shouldn't say odd. What the fuck am I talking about? Okay. I'm not trying to stigmatize this shit, okay? I'm just, I don't know. I got some quirks, but, I mean, I think the main thing is that shit doesn't really bother me, alright? So, that's the main differentiation between me and I think a lot of people who have autism. So, nope, I would not consider myself to be, autistic. So, there you go. I could take, if you guys want, I could take the Aspie quiz. But I don't think it's gonna pop up much. So there you go. Hope you found this interesting. You can go ahead, I'll link the test in the description if you want to take it yourself. God, this is fucking terrifying, dude. They have like, the eyes are so tiny and awful looking, man. That's why I trust this website. But anyway, like, okay, so apparently this is not even a good test. It has a lack of clarity. But, anyway, I wanted to just end this by saying, once again, I think at certain times through this, I may have joked when I shouldn't have joked, and may have stigmatized some of these qualities. That's not my intention, and it's something that I probably need to work on. So, there you go. But, no, I don't. I mean, I think the Autistic Joe Swanson thing is really funny, you know? But, I would say no, I don't think I'm autistic. I think I'm just Joe Swanson, so there you go. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully didn't offend anybody, but I was just trying to keep it light and be honest. So there you go. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.